Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I'm back with another story time. This time it's an art theft story, which I've been hinting at making a video on for a long time now. Let's address the elephant in the room. Am I clickbaiting when I say famous singer? Well, not really. This person is a famous singer where I live. I'm pretty sure most Colombians know his name. The thing about this musician is that the music he makes is very Colombian. I don't think many people outside of my country listen to him, and if they do, it's because they have either visited the country or have family or friends that are from here. So it's not really clickbait, but there's a big chance most of you don't know who I'm talking about. Why am I not mentioning his name? Because I don't want to get in trouble with them anymore. As you will see later on in this video, they're not good people and would blast a small artist out on social media without thinking about what that might do to them, their career, or their mental health. So yeah, for my own protection, I'm not saying their name. If you were following me on Instagram a year ago when all of this went down, you might know who this is. If you do, I ask you not to mention it in the comments, please. The origin of this drawing is that my niece was the queen of carnivals for her class when she was 3. And my sister asked me to draw some designs for her to decorate her classroom, and this is one of the drawings I did for it. A year later, a company approached me to purchase the use of this design for their children's book along with some of the others I did. And that was it for that design, in my opinion. I never planned on using it on anything again. But to put it simply, this vectorized drawing I made for my niece became my most stolen work ever. Now I have a few pieces that have been stolen and resold on the internet over the years, but this one was another game. Basically, there's not a place I can go to that sells carnival merch that doesn't have this design being sold on something. Of course, I'm getting no money out of it. As I said, many people stole it, and while I can't control it being sold in stores as nobody cares about that shit here in Colombia, I at least can control who sells it on Instagram. As I mentioned, my sister has a child, and so she follows a lot of clothing stores that are during carnivals do nothing but put on carnival merch. And that's how she ended up finding my work being constantly sold in different Instagram boutiques. She would send it to me, and obviously being a small artist struggling with money, I was upset that other people were making money off my work. I DM'd them. And let me tell you, I've DM'd a few of these companies first before I learned that everyone was just gonna ignore my message. Even my friends commenting on their posts saying it was my work didn't do anything because they just deleted those comments. So I did the only thing that I could. I started reporting them on Instagram and having them taken down. I got many messages back through my email, people complaining about it, but most of them just were smart enough to not post it again and probably just sold it secretly or whatever. I didn't care. I liked the little control I had over it. At least they weren't putting it out to their followers on their Instagram, and while I wasn't happy about it, I was okay with that. Many people got aggressive about it on the DMs, but nothing like what happened in 2020. And now we're getting to the story this video is about. Sorry, I just felt like y'all needed some context before I told this story. It started, as I mentioned before, my sister sharing with me the publication of this store. It was, if I remember correctly, a children's shirt with my design on it. At this point, I was just taking down everyone's posts without even DMing because I had 2 years to learn that it didn't work and they would just ignore me. But I noticed that they had a larger following than most people with those type of Instagram boutiques. I can't remember the number, and unfortunately, I don't have any screenshots anymore because those were in my old phone. But I asked my sister and she thinks it was over 10K. This was a popular boutique. The Instagrams I usually dealt with had hundreds, maybe 1K followers, but this one had a lot. So I thought I would message them first, thinking that somehow the fact that they had a bigger following would make them more respectable. Oh, how wrong I was. Of course, I was ignored. So I did it, reported, and it got taken down. Next day, my sister sends me another screenshot, and I'm like, wow, these people. So I take it down again. And this happened again, and yes, again. Except the 4th time, Instagram just deleted their account for continued violations. I had no idea that was a thing that could happen at all back then. I thought the post would just be taken down and maybe the 4th time was the charm and they would learn their lessons. That's when I got this email. It's in Spanish, so let me translate it for you non-Spanish speakers. Good afternoon, Cams. I blurred out my name for some reason even though it's publicly out there, so I don't know why I did that. The reason for this is to inform you to please take out the report on our Instagram account. They want to inform They want to inform to please do something. Such a weird word. And I just noticed also this is hard to read because the grammar is so bad. Which was closed. Our business account, and you don't know what you're doing to us with that report. I do. I'm taking down art that was stolen from me. But here's where the victim card starts coming to play. We don't know why it was made. Please communicate with us. WhatsApp number. By the way, I don't know why people give me their WhatsApp numbers to communicate with them. Like, why is an email good enough for you? It always annoys me and just seems so unprofessional. There, I know I'm being nitpicky, but that's supposed to be AE, as in AHI with an accent. We will talk to you with delight to know the reason for your report, which is causing us trouble with our tool of work. Thank you very much. At this point, I had no idea who this person was. I had reported a lot of Instagram boutiques, and the name of the email didn't ring any bells. I thought I would look through the screenshots later and just reply saying that the reason for the report was because they had stolen my artwork, as I'm sure the email and the report said that it was infringing copyright, but whatever. Then came the second email. I want to add that the first 2 words of the email sound so condescending in Spanish, but I'm just gonna translate to one word that sounds okay, I guess. Look, Cams, we don't know what you're saying. Again, hard to translate because per grammar. The designs are made by ourselves. We take them, take the pictures, and make the outfits. Best translation I can of that because I barely understand it. If you would be kind to show us the screenshot of what you're saying we copy because our brand, we make everything customized to the client's taste. If you know Spanish, please tell me I'm not the only one who had a hard time reading that. Anyways, at this point I knew exactly what Instagram accounts this was based on screenshots my sister had sent me, and it was in fact that account that posted my work multiple times. So I told them this. I told them I had reported multiple times, DM'd them, and they had ignored, and proceeded to show screenshots of their works and my own drawing posted 2 years prior. My big mistake though is that linking my portfolio to them had all my info, including my Instagram, but that won't come into play until a bit. So yeah, I sent a response explaining what they had done wrong and that maybe they would have gotten their account deleted if they hadn't ignored the previous 3 reports. Of course, I got another email. Look, once again, condescending. That cartoon is everywhere in Pinterest, the Google, what a boomer, where everyone can download the image free and the image is public. I want to add that this always happened with these thief accounts. They claim all their work is original and custom made, but when presented with proof of the contrary, they go to the I found it free on Google defense. It's public like all the characters from the carnival, and we have access to download them when they are public in Google. We haven't plagiarized the characters, are free to download in Google, and I'll send you the proof. So redundant. What she failed to understand when sending me this proof is that the little disclaimer Google makes underneath, you know, the one that warns people that images may be subject to copyright. And let's just add, she's incredibly wrong. Art that is public on their internet is not free unless otherwise stated, and since I created that image, even though it's technically fan art, it's still my intellectual property. These characters are free for me to draw since they are public characters, but she's not free to use my own work to profit. I explained all of this to her in detail, sent her screenshots of the warning in Google, even linked her to some sources so she could educate herself on intellectual property. I feel like that's something so important if you're running that kind of business. You should know about copyright and trademarks and intellectual property so this shit doesn't happen to you, but I guess I'm expecting too much from these people. I also added that if she appealed, Instagram would probably return her account, and if she didn't post any more of my works, then I wouldn't have any problem with that. That was the last email I received from her. No, instead what she did was blast me on her Instagram stories with a picture of me and a link to my art Instagram. At that moment, I had less than 1K followers on Instagram, and I'm not sure how many she had, but right now she has 54K followers, and I don't think that is too different to what she had a year ago. In her stories and eventually her own post on Instagram, she paints the narrative of me being a jealous person that for envy and her success took down her page for no reason at all. So yeah, I got flooded with hate followers, people DMing me, calling me names, and threatening me. My last Instagram post was filled with horrible comments towards me and my work. I wish I could show you, but as you'll see later on, I eventually abandoned my Instagram and leave my best friend in charge of it. and she deleted all the nasty comments and DMs people were sending at me. So I did the best I could. I posted my own Instagram story telling my side of the story, the real reason her Instagram had been taken down, and basically what you've already heard. After that, I got tons of people messaging me nicer things, telling me they didn't know and apologizing, but those were like the very small minority. I got people telling me it was my fault for not using a watermark, which is so dumb. Like, imagine telling someone whose house just got robbed that is their fault for not having better security. I also want to add that watermarks are there for honest people. They can easily be cropped or edited. If you Google, actually, there's just tons of tutorials on how to edit out watermarks. It's especially easy when you have a style like mine. I actually have this drawing, I wish I still had it, the traced version, but I had a drawing that had the watermark on top of the nose, and someone traced my art, and it was like the same exact drawing, but it had no nose because they didn't know what was under the watermark. Like, that's what people would go to. It just doesn't matter if you have a watermark, I'm sorry. I got another wave of people telling me images on the internet were free, which I already explained why that's false. In the end, the amount of people attacking me was overwhelming. Here's when I found out whose account I actually took down and why they had such a large following. A famous Colombian singer commented on one of my pictures the following. Let's call him Luis Lopez because that's the name my generator gave me. Good evening, Luis Lopez salutes you. Sir, I can see your username, and let me add that this name is all caps because I feel like that's an important detail. Excuse me please, can I have your number so we can talk? Thank you very much. At first I thought it was a fake account, but nah, it was legit. I don't remember why I looked through my DM request too, and there it was. Hello Camila, Luis Lopez salutes you. Once again, all caps. Can I have your number please so we can communicate? Thanks. I showed this DMs to my sister, and that's when she informed me that the Instagram I took out was named after his daughter. His daughter modeled the clothing, and the woman I had been emailing with and that had blasted me out in social media was his wife. That's when I noticed the email. Hi Camila, Luis Lopez salutes you. In the nicest way possible, I would like to talk to you and apologize for any mishap. I just want to clear up some things, and depending on that, give you opinions of the things. That's the translation. I'm not changing anything. Write to me or call me at number. Thank you very much. In the nicest way possible, like his wife hadn't just sent a hate mob after me. Hypocrites. I only replied to the email where I expressed I was not comfortable giving out my number because, you know, I'm normal. I think it's so weird how these people get asking for my number and giving me their WhatsApp, which if I would talk to them on WhatsApp, they would get my number. And I said that I already explained the situation, so I had nothing else to say but tell them how horrible they were to attack someone as small as me when they had such a big platform with misinformation, and how they just let their followers attack me and threaten my life and my family's life. I can't find the next email, and I don't have a screenshot of it for some reason. I think I deleted it because I have a habit of deleting things that overwhelm me, because otherwise I would constantly look at them and stress out, use it for self-hate. And like last year, I never thought I would be sitting down here and telling this story, because last year my YouTube was not like this. So I never thought like I had a reason to preserve all of that information. So yeah, it's okay if you don't trust me on the next part, but basically what this whole ass grown man with a huge following did was play the victim. Say that I hurt his daughter because that was his daughter's Instagram. His daughter is like 4, by the way. So it was definitely not her Instagram. Her mother clearly owned it, and a 4-year-old can't have an Instagram anyway, so like whatever. And he started building this narrative of how his daughter would check on her Instagram every day and see all the people commenting and liking her posts, and then she saw it was gone and she was sad and didn't understand what was happening, which is so fucked up. Like, first off, why are you letting your 4-year-old daughter do that? Like, I don't want to parent shame, but pretty sure a 4-year-old has no concept of what a social media following is. Honestly, I think it might have been a lie looking back at it now. Or they are, in my opinion, really bad parents for letting their daughter worry about that shit at that age. Second, how fucking scummy to use your daughter to play the victim. That's just gross. Gonna add that him repeating his name on every message in caps was totally his way of using that I'm famous card to wow me or whatever. Like, I would be wowed by him. I don't give a fuck about who he is. I don't care. Who does he think he is? Shakira? Carlos Vives? No. Anyways, after that message, I didn't respond. I was done with that family and I was feeling horrible. My mental health has never been amazing. I suffer from depression and anxiety, as most of you already know. So that thing had me spiraling. It didn't help that I was still getting tons of hate on both of my Instas and even my Instagram email. And that's because they never changed the narrative. You can still find the 2 posts they each made about me on their Instagrams right now. Here's his wife's post, which reads, "So sad that people don't let other people work. They reported our account and closed it. The damage that account does." And Luis Lopez's post, "Good afternoon, friends, followers. They just closed the account for my daughter because they reported, and we have no idea why they do this to harm us. Someone wants to stop such a healthy and promising project that has more than 4 years of perseverance. If there's a specialist in the topic, please advise us. You will be thanked. A hug and God bless you." You see the narrative they paint. Starting with her post, work stealing other people's work. Because believe me, my work wasn't the only one stolen, and I actually checked and they do have a new account and they're still downloading art from the internet, so they learned nothing. She failed to mention the message that I DM her, and she had 3 reports to cease activity, but she continued. Now his post to, at that moment, 141k followers. First of all, putting forth his daughter as the victim, even though she's a child who has nothing to do with this except modeling clothes her mom made with stolen art? We have no idea why. Like, I didn't explain it in emails with links to sources where they could learn why what they did was wrong, with proof showing that images in Google are not free, with an Instagram story where I explain why, with once again a DM and 3 reports prior. The harm I did to them? I'm gonna go on a limb and say that that didn't really affect their economic situation. I'm gonna go on a limb that they are fine and that they started a new account because it's just a fucking Instagram account, and the only reason it had followers was because the dad is famous. I am a real person who struggles at being an artist, who they sent thousands of people to harass. Healthy? What's healthy about selling stolen work and using your daughter as a model and as a victim? And why would they need a specialist when I told them what to do? I told them to appeal and I wouldn't do anything else as long as they stopped using my work. But none of that worked for them, no. If anything, it shows you how people let fame get into their head. They think they are above everyone and oh no, poor them, their Instagram account was taken down for not knowing how to read. Honestly, with how poorly written some of those emails were, maybe they didn't understand the concept of image is subject to copyright. Anyway, since they refused to clear up things, people kept finding that post and attacking me. Y'all, I even had a guy saying "suck on this" and sending me a pic of his penis. I didn't see this. That was my poor besties to suffer, and I feel for her. At least there was this one very nice lady who kept defending me in the comments and in their post. I appreciate her. She saw my story and was trying to clear things up in the comments, but nobody was listening to her. What a gem. After that, I was mentally not okay and I deleted Instagram from my phone, left my best friend Creaky in charge, shout out to Creaky. She deleted all the nasty comments I kept getting for about 2 weeks after and responding to my friends and followers asking if I was okay and all that. She also posted for me for a bit so I could keep my art rolling. I was eventually fine, but every now and then I get DMs from those same people responding to my stories when I promote that I'm selling my art or shit like that, asking if I'm gonna take that account down too. Which is weird because why would I? I'm selling my own work? What? You okay? Carnivals are approaching and I expect people to use my work again. I've been debating on how to handle it and I think this time I'm just gonna report and ignore. It's really not worth it. There's a culture here of wanting easy money, and that's another reason I actually got a lot of hate, because I said our culture wants easy money in one of my stories and people got upset about facts. And they started calling me a traitor and I'm not from Barranquilla and that I hated my city. Like calling out problematic things about the place you live is suddenly makes you not from there. That's something that really bothered me too, because part of loving the place you're from is calling out its problems. You can't accept things as how they have always been. There's nothing wrong with wanting change and wanting better for the artists who live in this city. And I believe that if you don't call out and actively try to change things, then well, things will stay the same. So I don't regret saying people from here want easy money because it's true. That's why you have all these stores selling bootleg merchandise with work from small artists they find online. Yeah, stealing from Disney doesn't sound so bad because they're a huge company, but it's not the same with a smaller business. They're struggling, and just because you're struggling too, which in this case I doubt, that doesn't mean you can just steal from them. How about instead of downloading things on Google, you hire designers and artists? There's also tons of pages and artists who have free to use work. It's really not necessary to steal. You just have to go the extra mile and research if something is free to use for commercial use. And if you don't find what you want, just commission an artist. There's tons of artists out there with all kinds of price ranges. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. This was a weird video to make because I got so upset when reading everything. I think it's actually good that I didn't have any of those hateful and threatening DMs to show you because I don't know if I could have handled that with my current set of mind. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like this video and subscribe. I talk about basically whatever I want, but I do ask for input on what video to post next on my Twitter all the time. This was actually the most voted out of 3 options, so yeah, maybe you might want to follow me there. All my social medias are linked down below. Special thanks to my patrons, and I'll see you next time. Bye.